Well, very good morning to you. And then you've put it so well. This is the very first state visit by King Charles III. They don't happen too often, these state visits. They only host, I think, one or two heads of state from other countries a year. So it's absolutely amazing that in his first few weeks, he has decided to host a foreign leader in the form of President Cyril Ramaphosa. This is significant considering how they conduct this kind of state visit. In fact, just to give you a bit of context, Desiree, the late Queen started her reign in 1952, obviously until 2022. So that is about 70 years. So in those years, she only hosted about 152 state visits in the whole 70 years. So it's really significant. But other than the pageantry, other than the pomp and ceremony that we are speaking about, it is what will be discussed when the president meets, even now, beyond the king. Later on, he will address Parliament, and that on its own is very significant because it's the king that requests the joint houses of parliament that I have a visitor who I have invited. I would like him to address you so that he or she will speak about our cultural ties, the economic situation, and everything that would bind those countries. So in the next few hours, you will start to witness that, and that will be the official start, Desiree, of the state visit by President Ramaphosa here in the UK.
South Africa is the UK's biggest trading partner on the continent. That is significant. How do the two countries plan to take advantage or leverage this situation?
Oh yes, the fact that we are the first country to be invited does tell you that we are being taken seriously. And not only us, but also the African continent and the Commonwealth of Nations. So that relationship that already exists, in fact, this is the fourth state visit since a democratic South Africa was founded in 1994. So I have just said to you earlier that only one or two foreign heads are invited here. But since 1994, we are already at number 4. So that tells you that they do look at us with a bit of seriousness, and there are ties that are already existing. So how they then plan to take that forward is that after the pageantry, there will be those business talks which will focus on areas of energy, which will focus on areas of science and technology, and of course on areas that focus on health, because those are matters that are very important for South Africa. But particularly on economic packages and reintegration and trying to boost our economy. So that will also be very, very high on the agenda. So our country is struggling at the moment in terms of the economy. Oh, by the way, UK itself is going through its own challenges since it exited from the EU. So this relationship actually benefits both. It's not just a one-way traffic.
So just in terms of some of the conversations that have been taking place with the different portfolio ministers who have accompanied President Cyril Ramaphosa, for instance, the Minister of Health is there. What kind of health conversations are taking place, and so on and so forth?
One of the areas the president will visit is a medical center where they deal really with a number of diseases. And I think that center was very crucial in the development of the vaccine for COVID, for example. It doesn't only end there. There are also other vaccines or other medicinal facilities that are being looked at around that area. So the presence of the health minister tells you that South Africa and UK will look into cooperation and helping each other and transfer of skills around the issue of the medical facilities. So when the president visits that center tomorrow, so it will highlight exactly that.
So Mzwai, you've been in the UK since yesterday. I imagine you've taken a bit of a scan of the headlines that are coming through, either with British media or international media. And some of the questions, or the main question that keeps coming up, is why South Africa is the first country to visit King Charles III. Have we been able to find some sort of response to this?
Well, maybe not a direct answer to the question you've just asked, but when I was cleaning and looking at some of the newspapers that have been carrying this, and also the TV channels, I think one of the things they've been highlighting really was, will South Africa be able to convince UK to assist, particularly in the area of energy? So they are talking a lot about the area of Escom having its difficulty. And in fact, I just saw that they were even inviting analysts. I just watched one of their channels here, basically inviting analysts around the issue of Escom to say, how will South Africa solve this issue of the debt of Escom, because it's putting a heavy load. That's why it's struggling to keep the lights on. So that is one area really that they are looking at. But of course, you know, these are the Brits. They would always look at some sort of controversy. They are also saying the president who's facing impeachment back home because of hiding the money that he didn't report. So that was always going to come up, you know, when it comes to issues like that. So the British media would not let it just go just like that.